excited about this next panel. We're going to be talking about smart cities and emerging global jobs, industry adoption, and emerging technologies. And our moderator is our CEO and founder, Sara Nuñez. Sara is the Director of Future of Sales at Honeywell. She's a dynamic, award-winning global organizational portfolio management professional and advisor to the C-suite. She's a thought leader with a global and multicultural expertise across a broad range of industries, including telecommunications, technology, finance, and education. Sara has a profound belief in giving back, and that what led her to create Dream to Succeed, Soñar es Crecer Foundation. Sara, it's an honor to be here with you. It's a privilege to sit and learn with this tremendous panel on emerging technologies. Thanks for your collaborative leadership.
Thank you, Jose, and thank you so much for making this event a real success. Everybody's sending me text messages and excited about what we're doing today. But, before I start, thank you. I think working for Honeywell is a privilege. It's one of the largest organizations that really are leading the path for transformation, creating great solutions. And just to give you an idea of what we're representing today when we talk about smart cities, we're talking about pieces of solutions that are coming together. And when we say Internet of Things, when we say smart cities, we're talking about real technology. So alarm systems, you have sensors everywhere, you have models, you have every piece that you can ever imagine that really make that Internet of Things or smart city happening. There is more than 150 million houses that may have one of our products. There's more than 10 million buildings and infrastructure globally that may have our solutions. And Honeywell is accelerating a smart cities implementation. This event or this segment is going to be in Spanish. So I'm going to switch to the Spanish language at this time. So please click on your preference language interpretation in the bottom of the screen. Pick your own language and you will be able to see the translation going forward. Voy a presentar a nuestros panelistas y es un honor.
I'm going to present our panelists. It's an honor to have Sergio González with us. He is the Vice President and General Manager representing Latin America in general. And for me, it is an honor that he's here with us, ready to share a bit of his history and his knowledge of this really important issue. We also have here two other people that are really important for me in Honeywell, and we work really close together in this transformation project. We have Caterine López, and she takes all of these solutions and brings them to the hands of all of the creators and the solutions for the different buildings. And also Inés is with us. Inés Olano. She is our leader in human resources. Thank you, Inés. She is building a team of dreamers, a team of people who look at the future and are designing it at Honeywell. And we want to talk about how can we work together for this incredible company. So please, I invite you all to have a discussion about who we are, what do we dream about, how did we arrive to the success of working for Honeywell. So let's start with Sergio. Sergio, I would love for you to talk about yourself, your history, and how did we arrive to this incredible success? Hi, Sara. Thank you for inviting me today and share something that for us is really interesting. And we feel a lot of passion about it. I have more than 20 years of experience working for companies that are really similar, with the intention of what we do every day has a purpose for us. It is personal, but also for what we leave behind. And especially when we put it in the work frame of Dream to Succeed is for the Latin community. So I feel really honored to be
Gracias,
here.
Sergio.
Thank
Y
you,
me
Sergio.
gustaría también escuchar de Caterine López,
And
que va a
Caterine
compartir la
Lopez,
experiencia que
you
tuvo
were
en
really
desarrollo
close
de
with your team,
soluciones
and we
inteligentes en
are
Latinoamérica. Me
implementing
gustaría también
smart
escuchar de
solutions in
ella
Latin America. I would love
bueno,
to
su
hear about you.
experiencia
Catherine,
y
please
Pues
share a bit
gracias,
about your
Sara, gracias. Muy
story.
feliz de estar aquí
Thank you,
contigo.
Sara. I'm really happy to
Pero
be here.
definitivamente te puedo decir que
Definitely, I
soy
can
colombiana
say that I am
y he
from
sido
Colombia,
una mujer activista
and
toda la
I've
vida.
always been an
Estudié mi
activist.
carrera en
I
tecnología con
studied
mujeres
in a place
ingeniería
where
eléctrica y
you
fue
couldn't
como
find that many women.
una
That
historia
was
bien
electrical
bonita que
engineering.
marcaron la historia de
And
todas las
I've
personas
always
para las
tried
mujeres que
to
han venido siguiendo este camino.
open the way for
Recientemente
other
tengo
women.
un
I
hijo de
have a
9 años.
small
Veo
kid.
siempre
He
para
is 9 years
mis
old.
sueños y cumplan
And
sueños
I always
cuando
look at him and I
conozcan
look at the
y
dreams that
realizarán su
I've
plan de Honeywell
achieved. I
como
feel
profesional y
happy. I
claramente como
feel
persona, mamá y esposa.
I'm just honored to work for Honeywell, and I'm happy to be a
Nosotros,
mother and a wife.
Inés Olano. Inés,
Thank you, Caterine.
también
Inés,
creo
please
que
tell us about
me puede
yourself. I
comentar antes de dar mi
have
turno,
the
pues estoy tan
privilege
emocionada de
to
saber que
chat
estamos
with you
haciendo
in
este
another
cierre
event, and I
para
love
este
that we are
año
doing
y
a
tener
lot
la oportunidad
to
de
bring
compartir
Latin
este camino.
Americans
Cuéntanos de ti.
to us. So
Muchas
talk
gracias a
about you,
todos. Estoy
please.
súper emocionada, hasta metí en
Thank you. I
pánico
am really
de estar
excited
acá al frente de
to be
tantos
here
latinos.
with all of
Yo
you.
tengo 25 años de experiencia
I
en
have more
trabajo, he
than
trabajado en varios
25
países de
years of
Latinoamérica y
experience
Asia
in human
y me
resources
siento muy
in Latin
orgullosa
America and
de esto,
Asia.
me apasionan los jóvenes, me
I
apasiona
feel
ser
really
la
passionate
generación
about
de
young
jóvenes
people be
para
their
construir un futuro
first
mejor
option
y yo
to
como Katy soy
build a
activista desde que
future
comencé
that
a
is better
liderar
for
feminismo,
themselves.
así que
And
entre
I
mis
also am activist of the
trabajos
feminism.
liderar las
So
generaciones
I
de
try
jóvenes
to
para las
work with
políticas
women
educativas en Colombia y con
so
ejemplo
they arrive
positivo al resto de
to
Latinoamérica.
positions of power in Colombia and Latin
Aquí con
America.
nosotros.
Thank you, Inés.
Iniciamos nuestra
So
conversación
let's
para
start
conocer un
our
poquito más hacia
conversation. We
Colombia.
want to know more about these
Sergio, cuéntanos qué
smart cities.
definitivamente para ti
So
la tecnología ha sido
for
algo que
me,
te
the
apasiona.
technology
Una
is a
persona que
theme
tiene el
that
privilegio de tener un
I
computador
feel a lot
frente
of
al
passion
cual
about it. I love
pueda
to
leer
have a
y
computer in
aprender
front of me. I
conocimiento
felt that when I was a little kid
con
and I
cualquier
wanted to show it to
funcionalidad que
everyone. It was like an Apple computer. It was really small.
de ahí
And
el
from that
privilegio de ver cómo hemos
point
transformado
onwards, to see
estas
the privilege,
soluciones,
how we have
¿verdad?
transformed all of these technological solutions.
Que es
When we
como
talk
para
about
esa era del
computers,
computador que
how it has
brindaron la
aged,
posibilidad de ciudades
how it
inteligentes y
is
cómo ha
now
facilitado la vida
arriving to
en
being a
todas partes. Es
smart
algo que me
in
apasiona
data
y
and
sé que
everything,
muchos de
I
ustedes
feel a lot
en
of
este
passion
evento
about
también
it.
están muy apasionados en el tema de
And I know
tecnología.
a lot of you
Pero
are feel passionate about
tenemos esta
technology. So
visión
you that have the vision
de lo que Honeywell está haciendo a
of
nivel
what
global
Honeywell is
con
doing
estas
globally
tendencias
and
de
these
ciudades inteligentes, cuéntenos
tendencies
qué es
with
eso
the
que
smart
Honeywell
cities,
tiene
please give
para
us an
desarrollarlas.
example. How can we actually see them? Of course, I would love to start precisely on why is it important. And you just need to look at the different corporations and nations in the last years the, about sustainability. And I think that even though we have been talking about for many years, today it has a protagonic role. And we realize as human race that we need to have a good life quality to sustain our populations that are growing, but it has to be sustainable, especially for the future. So here we can show some of the points that are really important for that human behavior that we need to follow. And as we said, with all of the change, as Travis said, we are going to see this in what we are going to touch now. We can see that 55% of the global population is living in cities or urban areas. And this type of urban sectors generate a series of problems in the status quo of how we live in the space. So maybe we don't have enough water, or we see a high emission of CO2, and all of those things that we use in our daily lives to support ourselves have these second effects. And that's why we have issues with energy. So one of the important points for Honeywell is to think, how can we actually work about the reality, right? We don't have to say, hey, we have to get away with cities. It's not where we are going. So this is what is coming. From that point onwards, we consider that in the concept of smart cities is just one of the many elements that we have to start using to meet this need. So what happens when the society is more consciously aware?
We need more tools because although there's more an increasing the conscience, personal conscience, we need to accelerate this process. And how do we do that? We should focus on monitoring how to identify where we have these energy leaks, how the problems that cause these secondary effects that we didn't anticipate or that we don't want, where are they coming from? And so the solution we're offering uses IoT, using the technology we have, first with sensors, because we need to know what's going on. That's the first thing. So we need sensors. Today, all of us have sensors in our houses, right? From the computer you were talking about, today maybe we have other devices to turn the lights on and off. Maybe we have air conditioning, and we use a smart device to control it, or even the vacuum cleaner we use. All these devices are sensors. So I'm trying to talk about us individually, right? But as we open the scope, when we think about a building, a series of buildings, and when we think of cities, we are also talking about waste, right? How to manage waste. How can we improve the way we manage waste, the routes to evacuate waste, to get them to the final disposal, how to use the public transportation system, for example. All these things, as they are measurable, and if they fall under the same general view, that means that I can modify certain variables, understanding the implications of that. So if I see that there's traffic somewhere that's going to impact waste collection, sensors give me that information and I can modify the delivery of waste, for example. What else do we obtain? We save energy, and so life becomes less expensive. If we can manage lighting, thinking that we don't need a specific light on, maybe I can turn it off remotely and automatically. How do I control HVAC systems that use lots of energy, or for the use of water, gas, waste, management, etc.? Also, how to manage incidents, because things are going to happen, things that we don't expect. A fire, for example. So with sensors for early detection of fires, for example, we can solve these issues faster if everything is centralized. And there are other issues like zero emissions and other goals that are part of the life we are living today in these urban spaces. And so the solutions created by Honeywell are helping solve some of these issues, or at least they help manage that to answer to these needs we have. So maybe my colleague can tell you a little more about some success stories and cases that now we want to implement in Latin America. Caterine. Yes, thank you, Sergio. So here we have two examples from India. We started working there in 2017 with a command and control center to control traffic, environment sensors, the city's Wi-Fi. We developed smart signs and surveillance. It was very efficient in fine collection, for example. The income of the system went up 300%. And here you can see that we saw a decrease in pickpocketing and robberies in general, 33 and 36%. We all know that India has too much population, so the effect of this implementation helps improve the quality of life of
construyendo un hogar y haciendo parte de lo mismo. El último proyecto es
and the latest project in Egypt, in the city of Cairo, it's still being implemented. It's similar to the other two because we control all the systems that
impactando la velocidad de respuesta frente a emergencias, por ejemplo, los accidentes. Una vida depende de que una ambulancia llegue un minuto antes de lo que pudiera llegar
to
sin
be there earlier if there's no chaos in traffic. We change how the lights, street lights change to control and help having a better quality of life in smart cities. I would like now to give the floor to Inés so she can tell you a little more about other topics. But first, I would like to talk about sustainability. I'm in charge of the strategy and the technology Honeywell uses in their new projects. Our goal is to make that usable here in Latin America, and that's why I need to be aware of what's going on. And so Honeywell has been able to anticipate potential disasters because we have been responsible in how we manage water, how the pollution we produce, the air pollution. More than 40% of CO2 emissions is caused by buildings. And that's why Honeywell has installed capacity in various buildings for automation. And so we can capture everything you see here. The sensors capture all energy consumption. It's measured and it's stored in a database so we can make better decisions. And by doing so, we can reduce energy consumption, and that has a positive impact on the environment. We can also reduce the need for maintenance in the infrastructure base of a city. And so that infrastructure is more efficient and less costly. And mobility is also smarter and more efficient. And I would like to finish by inviting you all to become part of the solution. I wouldn't like for us to conclude tomorrow that even though we knew we could do a lot for our environment, that there was so much we could do to give a better world to the next generations, we didn't. I don't want us to be considered the generation that knew what was going on but didn't care or didn't do anything. Companies like Honeywell are working ongoingly to do something good for people. Well, and after that inspiring message from Gadi and that general view of what we're doing to make the world better, I like to talk about talent now. remembering what Travis was saying, I loved his presentation. I can say that the only constant is change. And based on what we're experiencing right now, and based in my experience in talent, I've been researching the current trends related to talent about that, and digital skills, how technology is there to help us work more systemically. And lastly, this is information from the World Economic Forum. They mapped the 10 skills for the future. We are talking about 2025. It's just a couple of years away. There are some skills related to problem solving that we need to develop. Others have to do with self-leadership. A third group is related to work with others, and the fourth, technology. So the blue ones are related to problem solving. We are talking about analytical thinking and innovation, complex problem solving, creativity, originality, and initiative, critical thinking and analysis. So this needs to be part of our agenda for the future, and also leadership related to the ability to learn. We are measuring what people can do and how much they can learn, be able to tolerate stress and be flexible. Leadership and social influence, because we need leaders that produce an impact in society, and technology, of course. I think more schools are aware now that uh, teaching kids to program is good for the future. So technology is becoming more important in education. And that's what I wanted to uh, tell you about. This gives you an overview of our work for the future. And I'm very excited about this because I feel this way we're connected what the world needs to what we can offer as people and with our talent to actually build a better world. Thank you so much, Inés. That was very interesting. I have two questions. One for Sergio as a company leader. I think we have around 4,400 employees here in this business area. So, what are your expectations? Let's talk to these leaders for the future. We have invited about 10,000 students. They will listen to you. So please tell them what they can do. Well, thank you for that question. What they can do is whatever they want to do. I think the evolution, this is the best moment in human evolution because technology is highly developed, things are moving fast. And I think many of the things Inés mentioned have to do with this, the pressure on us to keep up the speed with all these changes. So I think that being open to change, being used for things to change, to become agents of change, try not to resist change. I think that will be the key for success in your future career. If we talk about smart cities, connecting that to what Inés was saying in your question, the question is how do we change the blackboard? What do we need now? And I think we would need to change that for the next 10 years and maybe even faster than that. So we need to be agile and flexible, to be redrawing everything and reusing technology in various ways. Technology is not the solution. It's a tool. But if the person behind technology making decisions, analyzing data, and not worrying about databases, I think older generations had to work a lot on building that overview. I think society today and future talent has the ability to modify the landscape faster and not just data analysis. So I think analyzing to act is where they need to focus, right? So we're talking about how knowledge can help us reinvent ourselves, that we need to want to learn more and transform, not just, work with what we're being taught. We need to be active and move. And talking about the same issue, I think as consumers and human beings, the idea is how can we get ready for these technological changes that have a positive impact, right? Because we can have access to health, we have increased safety. I remember that when we started working in this transformation process at Honeywell, we were implementing solutions to know if the air around us was clean. And so we were so worried about it. So, how can we as people get ready to use these solutions that are available for us?
I think that process of preparation starts with being open. And it starts with the biggest insight that you can have for the future. As I said, sometimes I tell them that in the mentoring sessions, they say, I don't know how to approach this later. I don't know how, I don't know them. And you need to be friend of your friend before you need them. You cannot wait for the situation to be there to react. I need you to help me. That's why I'm here, right? That's the example of relationships. And it's the same with what you're asking. How can we prepare ourselves? We have to start today. Maybe there are 10 different ways, and 8 of them, maybe I won't ask for help. But we have to be clever in this. We don't need to overwhelm ourselves, right? But there is a concept that today we are planning. So if this happens, I'm going to do this and that. But there is another concept that you are planning because of different scenarios. So you have assumptions, right? But 5 of these things can happen. What is common to them that we can prepare? And which ones are particular that I can have full? So it is complex. Yes, it is a complex scenario, but answering your question, how can I prepare myself? I have to consider that things are not going to be as I am planning them. So how can I plan myself for different scenarios? Thank you, Sergio. And Kathy, I wanted to talk about it is difficult, when you see these issues of digital transformation and technology that maybe wasn't that easy for us to understand when we were at school or studying. So, how has it been for you to accept this and use it as a platform to grow? Because maybe our audience feel a bit, without that much confidence, like thinking, I cannot go to that work because maybe I don't qualify, and they feel a bit of fear. How has it been for you? Especially in those situations that take us away from the success. Thank you, Sara. It is a process. There is not a formula, but I've always told myself, how do you learn to swim? Swimming. You have to enter the water. And when I say it is a process, it is a lot of things. I studied, I prepared myself, but I also need that internal strength and believe in myself so I can achieve it. Personally, I've arrived to many barriers in my career. 20 years ago, when I started to study, there weren't so many women in technology, and there were a lot of difficulties. They thought women at home, women psychology, and I wasn't doing that. So that taught me to be a lot more stronger. You can dream, and it's worthwhile to follow your dreams. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Only you can do that. we have people like Sergio, like Inés, like you, that I part of that push that we need to be able to say, you know what? Yes, of course I can. I'm not going to stop doing this. It's not going to be something I cannot do, that I cannot wear. I'm going to do it and I'm going to keep pushing forward. Is that drive, Sara? Is that self love too? That gives you that confidence with the different challenges. If it's not you, it's another person. You have to say, why can it not be me? Oh, yes, I think the same. Thank you for telling us your experience. Inés, we work for an incredible company. I am so proud of being part of Honeywell and work with all of you. It has been a privilege to work with you all. You really do support diversity. We are a company that gives equal opportunity to everyone. It is incredible. Go everywhere in the world, we can get to know each other and we feel like human. We feel like we are always hugging each other. So let's talk about how Honeywell has arrived to that point where they open their arms to everyone who is able to believe in themselves and say, I want to work with you. I think that's the magic of this company. But it doesn't matter where this person is, you talk to them and they behave and they have some values and some characteristics that we all share. We really are future builders because we are building the future. So I think that the invitation for everyone is to be part of this. We have all of our job positions open so you can watch them and see which one you are interested in. And we have a lot of opportunities also to get to know the company from other points of view. From the academy, you can come in and study a bit of us. You can follow us through social media. We love diversity. We were awarded 2 awards that we love. We are one of the best companies for women and for millennials. So we are really focusing ourselves in attracting young people so we can challenge the status quo. And the last thing I want to share is that last month we were in Forbes magazine and we got granted the award of the best company in Mexico. So please come to us with that curious mind, with hunger to learn, to be able to transform the world, because that's what we are doing. We build a better future and make the world a better place to live in. That was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with everyone. And I would love to bring back Jose to see all of the questions of our audience. We're going to try to do it with the 2 languages.
We welcome you to the stage.